Hi, in this video I want to invite you to explore with me some, let's say, a specific perspective on what is going on at the moment in the world, globally, right? So, as we are all aware, there is massive change happening, not just lying before us, but we're in the middle of it. And this has possibly consequences and effects on every single one of us. What is happening right now and what is going to develop during the next couple of weeks, months, and years. Okay? And I think we can all agree on that. Right? Nobody can say, well, it's just going to end everything and we're going to return back to normal. So now, a lot of talk has been had, especially in the spiritual community, about what this time means. You know, this shift from 3D into 4D, 5D, the increase of vibration of Earth, and what it means for the spiritual awakening of humanity at large and for every single person, and for the change in humanity, like where things are headed. And so I will not go into that right now because there are tons of videos out there and you've possibly heard it all at this stage from one person or another. And while aspects of that may be very clear and very visible, and for you you may experience this as resonant with your own truth, there is something else that I would like to point out, and I have been inspired to do that this morning, and this is why I'm sharing it with you straight away. Because I thought that was a very interesting point. And it did not come from me. It was just there. And so I'm going to share with you what I perceived this morning as specific information on the current situation right now from one perspective, right? Different than what I just said. And this is from the perspective of karma of nations. Like most of us are familiar with the concept of karma, that they're energetic imprints and footprints of everything and relating to us as souls with different lives, different incarnations, different experiences. There are karmic patterns that develop. Right, so this means there are energetic footprints in multiple directions, and every footprint, everything that happens energetically as a cause has an effect. So karma is this cause and effect, law of cause and effect. It does not mean you did something and you need to be punished in the next life. It's not punishment. It is just a form of the law of cause and effect in action. So everything you put out, you get back somehow at some stage in some way, but the energetic equivalent is the same. And so when we look at what's happening globally right now, different things happen in different countries, even though there's a crisis everywhere. And you have, like a lot of you ask me as well, I would even be brave enough to leave the country. I would disappear. I would, start a new life somewhere else. But I have no idea where to go because it is everywhere. Like what I want to escape from is everywhere right now, so I have no idea where to go, or it's almost everywhere, right? And this is a very interesting fact because we've never had this before, right? We've never had this situation before where it's like, okay, I can't go to France, or I can't go to Bali, or I can't go to Hawaii or Russia because it's everywhere. Like the topic that I want to leave behind, I'm going to find it wherever I go. So we've never had this before. And this means looking at the point, or from the point of view of karma, each and every individual karma that we carry with us, right? But also the karma of nations, the karma of countries, the karma of places. Very much tied into the history of places and what is happening right now. And this is, and I would love if you would comment and give me your perspective on that. Now, not just your opinion, but like feel into this. What do you feel about it? Because every single nation right now is somehow dealing with whatever is going on right now in their own way, in a specific way, and that they might choose one path and then they modify and so on and so forth. But everybody has to deal with what we're dealing with right now. But there are different ways of doing it with different implications. And I'm not just talking about the health issue that is going on right now. I'm talking about lots of different issues, also political things that are going on. Interconnected, let's say, economic relations that are going on. So, and the consequences that has for the world and for the participating countries. So, if we look at this, we can see that there is something there which energetically is, a lot of people can feel this. If no matter where you are right now in the world, you can feel that in your situation there is something specific to your situation in your country. The way it feels in your country is different, even though we're all dealing with the same issue right now, right, the virus. It feels different wherever you go. And it has different consequences and also long-term consequences. And I got this sense this morning very strongly that the karma, the responsibility that each country has. You see, there are energy fields around everything, right? There is an energy field around you, around me. There is an energy field around objects. There is an energy field around a tree, but not just around each and every single tree in the forest, but also around the forest as a collective. There is an energy field around the forest. And then each and every tree has its energy field. And so this is what's there with humans as well. There is an energy field that we carry with our history, with our choices, with our lives, with everything, our thoughts, everything we create, we produce, we live, but then also the collective that we're in. Let's say there is an energy field in your hometown. And you know this, I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. You get to some place, some city, somewhere, and you have a specific feeling. You don't know why, but you feel, does this feel expansive? Does it feel tight? Does it feel like some people feel there is a color attached to a certain place? Like, is this city more yellow and bright, or is it more grayish or blue? And what does this mean? How does this feel to me? So every town or city or place has its energetic footprint, and also, if you expand it more, every country has that. And it is very much related to the culture and the experiences and the history of that country, the thoughts that are being produced in that country. Every thought is energy and creates an energetic vibration, a frequency. And so the predominant vibrations are there, and also from the history, what is there can still be felt. Now, it has got something to do with, I'm not going to dive too deep into this, with the grids as well, like with the magnetic grids and the, let's say, the Akashic records of each nation and what's happening there in the energy fields of the different countries. But if we look at the karma of nations, and if we explore the possibility that, oh, could it be that right now in this phase where we're in since last year, it has started before, but mainly since last year, since all of this started, could it be that countries are actually now also working through their karma? Because where humanity is headed is we want to let go of karma. A lot of people are doing it individually, working with their karma, dropping it, because the planet is ascending, and so are we. And so we are actually required to drop our karma because it's not necessary anymore to carry it forward. So we can clear this, we can clear it and move forward fresh and not weighed down with old stuff that are no longer serving us. Old things that are no longer serving us, old energetic patterns that are holding us back in our development. So now is actually a perfect time for individuals to drop their karma. So why not also for nations? So if we see that as an option, as a possibility, perspective, what every nation is going to go through during the next few years, let's say, maybe decades, right, is a process of being confronted again with karmic energies, with, let's say, their own history again. And you cannot solve or heal something if you're not willing to look at it, so it has to rise up again. So the issues of a country, that would mean they become strong again. Whatever we thought was a given will be opened up again, will crumble, will be threatened to be destroyed, because at some stage it was built, whatever we thought, in safety, in democracy, in freedom. But there are energetic, karmic things that are still attached to the events that might still be there, that may need healing and that may need some sort of resolving. And so if each country now, on a, let's say, spiritual level, on an energetic level, each country is actually working through its own karma, that would mean that things will have to come up to be seen, right? They have to come to the surface and then to be dealt with properly. Not like in the past, let's deal with it on the surface and then we move on. And whatever stays hidden, if it's dark enough, we're really happy that it stays hidden. So these things will have to be brought to the light, even if they are 500 years old. If they have not been resolved karmically, energetically, then this period where Earth as a planet is ascending, this period would be the perfect period for countries and nations to resolve their karma and to clear this old stuff. And this, to me, it feels, even though it's daunting and it's a big thing and it's like, oh, really? At the same time, it feels liberating, because it's like finally even nations can move forward. And because humanity as a species is ascending, is changing, is shifting, it is only natural for countries to resolve their negative karma. When we're talking about negative karma, right? Positive karma, you can keep that and you can treasure that, right? So we're talking about these negative cause and effect cycles. And so that in future, there will be more and more positive karma being built up, because the negative karma will have been resolved. But it cannot be resolved if we don't look at it. If nations don't look at it, if they're not confronted with it. And this might be tough, yes, it may be a very tough process. if these things come up again, that people thought, I didn't think we would have to live this state of poverty again, or uncertainty, or violence, or discrimination, or inequality, whatever aspects there were in the past that may not have been healed or just healed on the surface. But by them coming back up, these aspects, to humans who are becoming more aware, they will look at them and saying, we need to deal with this differently this time. Properly. Wholly, like whole, complete. Integrating everything and not just picking a few aspects and hoping that the other ones energetically never would come up again. So to us as becoming new humans, those old things coming up, they give us the chance to shed the new consciousness on them and then find new ways of dealing with these issues and healing and transforming the karma. Does that make sense to you? If it does, let me know. Let me know whether this resonates with you. And for me, there are different countries coming up very strongly that seem to have a lot of work at their hands right now and lying before them. And one of them, to me, now this is my guidance, right? My perspective. One of them is the US, definitely, as one nation. But there are others that are quite big. My sense is that it's China, that it's Russia, and now every nation, every nation, every country is doing this, is in that process. But the real big ones where a lot of transformation will have to occur if positive changes are supposed to be the priority for the future. These are the main, like they're lighting up for me. They're lighting up. There are countries where I feel they can almost sit back a little. Now they still have karma to resolve, but they can almost sit back a little and be pleased with the amount of positive karma they have accumulated. And for me, they feel up in the north, like maybe Sweden, Norway, Finland, right? That corner, somewhere up there. This feels like, even though karma needs to be processed, there are already beacons of light coming up in those countries where the positive karma, the positive energy is radiating out, stronger than in a lot of other nations. And yeah, I'm not going to get into each and every one, but I invite you. I mean, if we're talking, you are sensitive too, right? You're intuitive as well. And if this resonates with you and if you feel like, yeah, you're onto something, and it's not me being onto something because that was just a spark of information or inspiration that I received, and it feels very much true. It resonates very much within me. But if you feel that that's the way for you to share it, and then you can explore maybe as well if you're interested in the karmic leftovers of each country, that you tune in and maybe share your feelings, your insights on that. Because obviously every nation has its own, like if we look at North Africa, for example, or South America, like the difference in the energy and the difference in the history, and even though there may have been war in one part of the world and in the other, but how that happened, for example, what was in it, and so on and so forth, and how they dealt with it afterwards, like the country, how they resolve things, how they heal things actively, passively, how they just swept things under the carpet. That is so different to each and every culture. And there is no judgment in this, because this is a planet of choice, of karma, of energy, of frequency, of duality. So this is all basically what was supposed to happen, what is supposed to happen, because we're here on this playing field, right? But now we're realizing more and more that it is up to us what games we want to play and how we want to play them. And humanity is slowly starting to wake up to the fact that destructive games that are self-serving are not worth it. And humanity is realizing that by continuing on that path, it will not serve humanity and it will not lead us anywhere, but it will keep us in the same cycles of destruction, of misery, of suffering, of separation, of these illusions of power and suppression and imprisonment and freedom at cost of somebody else's freedom. So this is what is being realized slowly, possibly very slowly, but it is. And even the fact that we're talking about these things in an open space like this, and we can share thoughts like that, is a signal and is a sign that we are becoming aware and conscious to our own being, to who and what we are, but also to what this is, what reality is, what the fabric of reality is, and how we influence it as individuals and as nations. And so wherever you're planted right now, you might be in your home country where you've always been. You can check out, okay, what is my cultural history? How do I feel connected to it? How do I live my heritage? And what do I want to contribute to a positive karmic field of my country? How am I representing my culture? I don't even want to separate so much the country thing, but this culture and this energetic identity, the energetic identity that a country has. And that is so different. Like the Japanese, they experience themselves, I imagine, differently than a German person or a Swiss person. And someone from Austria might experience themselves, or possibly does experience themselves, completely differently to a native Indian. Yes, because it's different. And it's not just different because your family might be different, because the culture is different. And the energy, the thought pattern, the cultural imprints are different. Yes? So let me know what you think about nations resolving their karma and this crisis here being just one way, one catalyst of this happening, this occurring. Let me know what you think. Okay? I'm going to love you and leave you for today, and we'll talk again next time.